In 2023, a survey found that 24% of Americans believe the sun revolves around the Earth. Not in 1523, 2023. And that's not even in the top 50 dumbest things people believe. I'm about to show you conspiracy theories so ridiculous they make flat Earth look like peer-reviewed science. By the end of this video, you'll question humanity's survival. And I've got the receipts. Let's count down the 50 dumbest conspiracy theories that refuse to die. Theories that make you question if people are trolling. We're starting strong. According to this theory, Finland is fake, a propaganda myth created by Japan and Russia to disguise their illegal fishing operations. The entire country, its 5.5 million people, Nokia, saunas, all actors. When confronted with, people from Finland, believers claim they're in on it. My guy, if Finland doesn't exist, explain why their heavy metal bands are so angry. Ever notice there are 3 mattress stores on one block and they're always empty? Conspiracy theorists claim this proves they're fronts for money laundering, because apparently the criminal underworld looked at all possible businesses and thought, you know what's inconspicuous? 15 mattress firms per square mile. Never mind that mattresses have insane markups and people buy them every 7 to 10 years. No, it's definitely the mob. The theory: Avril Lavigne died in 2003 and was replaced by a doppelganger named Melissa. The evidence? She changed her style, because no one in their 20s ever evolves their look. Apparently, record executives found it easier to hire a clone than to find a new pop-punk artist. In an industry famous for churning out interchangeable stars, they chose the complicated route. The Beatles were so popular that when theorists needed a conspiracy, they killed Paul McCartney and replaced him with a look-alike. The evidence includes lyrics played backward, Abbey Road album clues, and that's it. So the Illuminati can fake a death and find a perfect replacement who's also a musical genius, but they leave Easter eggs? That's not a cover-up, that's a marketing campaign. After Finland, conspiracy theorists looked at Wyoming and said, you know what? You too. With less than 600,000 people, they claim it's just empty land used by the government for reasons. To be fair, I respect the commitment. If you're going to deny a place exists, at least pick one people might actually miss. Looking at you, Finland. This started as satire mocking conspiracy theorists, but plot twist. People actually believed it. The claim: the government exterminated all birds between 1959 and 1971 and replaced them with surveillance drones. Every pigeon, a camera, every crow, listening device. Which explains why birds poop on cars. It's psychological warfare. Though I'll admit, if you've ever been attacked by a goose, the robot theory tracks. Britain couldn't possibly have shipped convicts to Australia. They just threw them in the ocean. Every Australian you've met? Actor? The Great Barrier Reef? CGI kangaroos? Government-trained operatives in costumes. This theory falls apart when you realize Britain absolutely would ship people to the other side of the planet for stealing bread. That's the most British thing possible. Forget the moon landing being fake, these people think the entire moon is fake. It's supposedly a hologram projected to hide something. A space station? Aliens? They never specify. But next time there's a full moon, just remember. Somewhere, someone is squinting at it thinking, nice try, NASA. Meanwhile, NASA's literally putting rovers on Mars like, dude, we've moved on. And we're only at number 43. Stick around because number 17 involves pizza, and number 3 will genuinely make you angry. Drop a comment right now. Which one of these have you actually heard someone defend? Theories that fundamentally misunderstand reality. According to this theory, gravity doesn't exist. It's just density and buoyancy. Heavy things fall because they're dense, not because of gravitational pull. This completely explains tides, planetary orbits, and why astronauts float. Oh wait, no it doesn't. It explains literally nothing. But sure, Einstein wasted his time. He should have just asked a guy on Reddit. Plot twist: every fossil is fake, planted by either the government or Satan to deceive us. Museums globally are in on it. Paleontology as a field? Invented. The asteroid that killed them? Didn't need to happen because they were never here. So either there's a conspiracy involving every scientist, museum, and country for 200 years, or bones exist. Tough call. Ancient Earth had massive silicon-based trees thousands of feet tall until they were cut down and the stumps became mountains. What we call trees today are bushes. Devil's Tower in Wyoming? That's a tree stump. Because evolution looked at plants and said, let's switch from silicon to carbon for no reason. Also, where did they put the wood? Did ancient aliens have storage units? Not just the moon, all of space. The stars are lights in a dome. Rockets hit the firmament and fall back down, and every space agency worldwide is faking everything. Satellites hung from balloons. The ISS, a movie set. Zero gravity footage, filmed in water or with wires, despite the fact that water and wires don't look anything like microgravity. But hey, at least this theory is ambitious. They're not thinking small. The sun isn't hot, it's actually cold, and heat comes from sunlight interacting with Earth's atmosphere. Never mind that we can literally measure the sun's surface temperature at 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Never mind that space probes would have melted. This theory requires rewriting all of physics, but sure, the sun is a cosmic ice cube. That's definitely easier to believe. Similar to number 40, but deserves its own spot because of the commitment. Every mountain range, Rockies, Himalayas, Andes, all ancient silicon tree stumps. Mount Everest, stump, K2, stump, your logic, stumped. The amount of mental gymnastics required to look at geological formations and think tree is Olympic level. Every nuclear test, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Chernobyl, all faked with conventional explosives and propaganda. Never mind the radiation, the physics, or the thousands of witnesses. It's all theater. This theory requires Japan to fake its own bombing, the Cold War to be performance art, and every nuclear physicist to be in on it. Guys, Oppenheimer literally said, "I am become death." He wasn't method acting. This is the conspiracy theory that tries to have it both ways. Bacteria evolves, they'll admit that. But fish to mammals? Fake. So evolution works, but only when it's convenient. It's like saying you believe in math, but only addition. Subtraction is government propaganda. Natural selection exists, but takes a coffee break at the species level. We're 1/3 through, and I promise it gets dumber. Wait until you hear about the celebrity cloning center at number 22, or the one about vegetables that'll make you rethink salad. Which of these would you least want to argue about at Thanksgiving? Comment below. Theories that rewrite history creatively. A commoner couldn't possibly write that well, so it must have been Francis Bacon, Christopher Marlowe, or even Queen Elizabeth. Because apparently, being educated and talented is less believable than a massive literary conspiracy where someone else wrote everything but gave credit to a random dude from Stratford. Hot take. Maybe Will was just good at his job. The theory claims they swapped the Titanic with its damaged sister ship, the Olympic, for insurance fraud, then deliberately sank it. So they killed 1,500 people for money they could have gotten easier ways. Also, the ships had different layouts that passengers would have noticed. But sure, maritime history's greatest grift. At least it's creative, I'll give them that. Pyramids? Aliens. Stonehenge? Aliens. That thing your neighbor built with perfect 90-degree angles? Probably aliens. This theory hinges on the racist assumption that ancient people were too stupid to move rocks, despite evidence of their engineering genius. Aliens flew across galaxies but decided their legacy would be helping with construction? Not first contact, just really committed to architecture. The phantom time hypothesis claims 297 years were added to the calendar, so the years 614 to 911 AD never happened. Charlemagne? Fake? All medieval history? Fabricated. Why? To make it the year 1000 sooner for religious reasons. This requires every civilization globally to agree on a fake timeline, including cultures that didn't use the same calendar. The coordination alone would be impossible. Maps frequently omit New Zealand, which proves something. Maybe it's new, maybe it's moving. Theorists can't decide, but they're very suspicious. Real answer. Cartographers are bad at their jobs sometimes. New Zealand's omission is so common there's a subreddit for it. But sure, it's a conspiracy, not just geographic negligence. The theory claims a deaf-blind person couldn't possibly learn language or graduate college, so she was fake. This isn't conspiracy theory. It's just ableism with extra steps. Her achievements are well documented, but some people need to believe it's impossible because they can't imagine overcoming obstacles they've never faced. Helen Keller learned multiple languages. These people can barely learn one conspiracy theory without contradicting themselves. A classic. Kubrick filmed it on a soundstage, the flag waved, shadows were wrong, etc. Ignoring that faking it would have been harder than actually going, that we left mirrors that scientists still use, and that the Soviets, who monitored everything, confirmed it. Also, if America faked the first one, Why fake 6 landings? That's just showing off. At some point, you'd actually go to save money on sets. Plato wrote about Atlantis as a philosophical metaphor, but people decided it was a real place with advanced technology that sank. Every few years, someone finds it in a new location. It's been in the Mediterranean, the Caribbean, Antarctica, and even Indonesia. At this point, Atlantis has traveled more than most influencers. Maybe the real Atlantis is the conspiracy theories we made along the way. Halfway there, and I know you're judging humanity hard right now. Which theory has the most Olympic-level mental gymnastics so far? Drop your vote in the comments and stick around because number 11 involves cloned celebrities. Theories where villains do complicated evil pointlessly. Contrails, water vapor from planes, are actually chemicals for mind control, weather manipulation, or population control. Despite the fact that chemicals dispersed at 30,000 feet would dilute to nothing, and this would be the least efficient way to distribute anything. If the government wanted to drug you, they'd just put it in energy drinks. Way cheaper, way more effective, and Monster already tastes like a conspiracy theory. When COVID hit, people decided 5G caused it. Despite viruses not being radio waves, they're different things. Countries without 5G still got COVID. Also, 5G is just faster internet. It's not magical death rays. Though I appreciate the ambition of thinking telecom companies engineered a global pandemic just to sell better data plans. That's commitment to customer acquisition. The High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program studies the ionosphere, but according to theorists, it creates hurricanes, earthquakes, and tsunamis. Because the government looked at all possible weapons and chose weather manipulation, not nukes, not drones, rain. And they only use it sometimes, apparently, since natural disasters existed before HAARP. It's the most passive-aggressive superweapon ever. They started adding fluoride to water in the 1940s to control mines. Definitely not to prevent cavities. That's just what they want you to think. Never mind that fluoride amounts are tiny, that it's a naturally occurring mineral, or that dentists globally endorse it. If this was mind control, it's the least effective program ever because people still have free will and terrible opinions. Clearly, it's not working. Celebrities are cloned and controlled in underground facilities. Every time you see someone looking tired or different, it's a clone malfunction. Or, hear me out, aging, weight changes, and bad lighting exist. But sure, Hollywood maintains secret DNA labs because hiring new celebrities is too hard. Remember when we thought talent agencies were the problem? Simpler times. The murals are weird, there's a blue horse sculpture, and construction went over budget, therefore it's Illuminati headquarters or a doomsday bunker. Every airport is over budget. Have you been to an airport? They're all dystopian nightmares. The Denver one just leaned into the aesthetic. The horse sculpture killed its creator. That's not conspiracy, that's tragic irony. If the Illuminati wanted a headquarters, they'd pick somewhere with better food. Lizard people from space or hollow earth control governments and the elite. Evidence? People blink weird on camera sometimes. That's it. So shape-shifting aliens infiltrated society, but their only weakness is live television? Not DNA tests, not body scans, HD cameras. David Icke built a whole career on this. Somewhere, actual lizards are confused about the publicity. Some think they're not money laundering, but government spy hubs where they record your sleep data via demo mattresses. So the FBI wants to know your preferred firmness level? Sir, the suspect is a side sleeper. I repeat, side sleeper. At least the money laundering theory had criminal logic. This is just the government caring too much about your lumbar support. 10 minutes left and these are about to get weird. Number 7 involves JFK and number 1 will legitimately make you lose faith. What's the dumbest one so far? Comment below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you're missing out on more content that questions humanity weekly. Theories that actively harm people. Based on one retracted study by a discredited doctor who lost his license, this theory killed people. Measles came back, children died, all because people believed vaccines, which have saved millions, cause autism, which they don't. Dozens of studies with millions of participants proved this false. But here we are. Andrew Wakefield has more blood on his hands than most serial killers, and he's somehow not in prison. A DC pizza restaurant was allegedly running a child trafficking ring from its non-existent basement based on coded emails. A man showed up with a gun to investigate. There was no basement, no victims, no evidence, just a terrorized staff and traumatized customers. This theory destroyed lives over nothing. It's not funny anymore. It's a case study in how online conspiracies become real-world violence. 20 children and 6 educators were murdered, and conspiracists claimed it was staged with crisis actors. Parents were harassed. They received death threats. Some were stalked. Alex Jones made millions spreading this lie and was sued for $1.4 billion. This isn't conspiracy theory. It's harassment of grieving families for profit. There's a special place in hell for profiting off murdered children. Either the virus doesn't exist, or it was deliberately created to control people, depopulate Earth, or push vaccines. Meanwhile, 7 million people died globally. Hospitals overflowed, morgues ran out of space. But sure, every doctor, nurse, and healthcare worker worldwide conspired to fake it. The pandemic broke people's brains. Some never recovered. The conspiracy theories became deadlier than the virus. We have photos from space. We've circumnavigated the globe for centuries. Physics explains everything from gravity to time zones. But some people think Earth is a flat disk under a dome because they can't see the curve. You also can't see bacteria, but they exist. At least this theory is mostly harmless until flat earthers try to launch themselves in homemade rockets. Rip Mad Mike Hughes. You died for nothing. Denying one of history's most documented genocides is beyond conspiracy theory. It's evil. 6 million Jews were murdered. We have Nazi records, survivor testimonies, photographic evidence, and the camps still exist. Denying this isn't skepticism. It's anti-Semitism wearing a tinfoil hat. This doesn't deserve analysis or debate. It deserves condemnation. A Forshan troll claimed to be a government insider exposing elite cabals and predicted mass arrests that never happened. People believed it. Families were destroyed. January 6th happened partly because of it. Q stopped posting, probably because they realized the joke went too far, and followers still believe. It's a case study in how loneliness, distrust, and internet echo chambers create cult-like movements. The real conspiracy is how one anonymous troll radicalized millions. Despite decades of research finding no link, people still think phones cause cancer. Not metaphorically, literally. If this were true, we'd see cancer rates exploding since the 1990s. We don't. What we see is people Googling symptoms on the same device they think is killing them. The irony is chef's kiss. Your phone is rotting your brain, but through TikTok, not radiation. 5 minutes left, and we're at the absolute worst ones. Before we get there, which of these made you the angriest? Comment below, and let's talk about how we got here as a species. The absolute worst of humanity. No, they don't. They smell nice. That's it. People die because they use lavender instead of chemotherapy. Multi-level marketing schemes prey on desperate people selling literal snake oil. If essential oils cured cancer, oncologists would use them. They're doctors, not big pharma robots. Peppermint oil is great for headaches. It will not cure leukemia. Stop killing people with aromatherapy. MMS, Miracle Mineral Solution, is bleach, industrial bleach. People gave it to autistic children. People drank it for COVID. The FDA warned people dozens of times. Poison control was overwhelmed. This isn't conspiracy theory. It's attempted murder via YouTube. If your cure comes with a poison control warning, it's not medicine. It's evidence for a potential manslaughter charge. The claim: elites torture children to harvest adrenochrome from their blood for life extension. This is blood libel, the same anti-Semitic conspiracy from medieval times with a modern coat of paint. Adrenochrome exists, but you can synthesize it in a lab for $20. There's no magical properties, no life extension, just repackaged hate designed to dehumanize people and justify violence. This isn't theory, it's incitement. JFK Jr. died in a plane crash in 1999. QAnon believers think he faked his death and will return to become Trump's VP. They gathered in Dallas waiting for him. He didn't show up because he's dead. A corpse has better plans than this conspiracy theory. The Kennedy family is probably exhausted. Let the man rest in peace. He's been dead longer than some of these believers have been alive. People believe they're targeted by government surveillance with directed energy weapons, organized stalking, and V2K, voice to skull. This is documented mental illness, specifically persecutory delusions and schizophrenia. Instead of getting help, online communities reinforce these beliefs. It's heartbreaking. These people need psychiatrists, not YouTube validation. The real conspiracy is how the internet lets vulnerable people fall into echo chambers that prevent treatment. In 2020, people decided Wayfair was trafficking children in overpriced furniture because some cabinets were expensive and had girls' names. Never mind that industrial furniture is expensive or that people don't ship children via UPS. This theory harmed real trafficking investigations by flooding hotlines with nonsense. When you cry wolf about furniture, actual victims get ignored. This theory actively hurt the cause it claimed to support. After every school shooting, conspiracists claim it's staged to push gun control. Parkland survivors were called crisis actors. Uvalde families were harassed. Parents bury children and then get death threats from people who think their grief is performance art. This isn't skepticism, it's sociopathy. If you think grieving parents are actors, you're not a truth seeker. You're just cruel. This theory killed people by discouraging treatment and spreading misinformation during the epidemic. Some believe the government created HIV to target gay men and black communities. The real conspiracy was governmental neglect. Reagan ignored it for years. But inventing bioweapon theories discouraged people from seeking treatment, which actually did kill people. The conspiracy theory became deadlier than the supposed conspiracy. Beyond autism, the anti-vax movement claims vaccines cause everything from SIDS to infertility to tracking chips. Measles was eliminated in the US, then came back because of this. Whooping cough killed infants. Polio was making a comeback. These are diseases we conquered, and we're bringing them back voluntarily. Parents watch their kids suffer preventable diseases because Instagram convinced them essential oils work better than medicine. This isn't alternative health, it's negligent homicide with a wellness aesthetic. Number 1, because it's killing us right now. Despite 99% of climate scientists agreeing, despite record temperatures, wildfires, floods, and melting ice caps, people think it's a hoax by Big Solar. The conspiracy would require bribing every scientist globally, while oil companies, with actual profit motives, are the truth tellers. We have decades of data. We can measure carbon levels. We're watching it happen in real time. And here's the thing, even if you didn't believe it, which you should because science, wouldn't you want clean air and water anyway? The conspiracy theory here is that caring about the planet is suspicious. We're denying reality so hard that future generations will look back at us the way we look at people who thought smoking was healthy. Except they only killed themselves. We're killing everyone. This isn't about politics, this isn't about money. It's about whether we survive as a species. And some people chose to believe it's fake because the alternative requires change. That's not skepticism. That's suicide with extra steps. All right, we've survived 50 of the dumbest conspiracies people still believe. Will I be making a part 2? Depends on your comments and likes. If you want part 2, type "I want part 2" below right now. Before we close, here's what matters. Conspiracies often feel compelling because of emotional narrative, mistrust, cherry-picking. But facts, cross-checking, skepticism, peer review, logic matter more. Use your brain. Don't just consume, it's okay to ask, where's the proof? If you've got your own dumb conspiracy theory, or one you accidentally believed, share it in the comments. I might roast or analyze it in the next video. Now, smash that subscribe button, you know you want to, so you don't miss part 2. Also, ring the bell so your future self doesn't get mind-controlled by YouTube's algorithm. Thanks for watching. Stay skeptical, but not that skeptical. Science is real, birds are real, Finland is real, and please, for the love of God, don't drink bleach.